Hey guys, today we're going to take notes. Now, if you already took the multiplication notes with fractions and mixed numbers, then you don't need to take these notes. We're going to split that set of notes into two smaller ones. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to cover lesson 4-2 and lesson 4-3, and we're going to be multiplying fractions and whole numbers. So it's going to be a combination of, we can have a fraction times a whole number, and we can have a fraction times a fraction. And then on Tuesday night, you guys will have a video that's just on multiplying mixed numbers and fractions, or mixed numbers and mixed numbers, okay? So regardless of what kind of math you've got going on, regardless of what your numbers look like, the process is the same. So number one, you must have two fractions. So if your two numbers are not fractions, then you need to convert them into fractions. So we're going to talk about whole numbers, and they're super simple to turn into a fraction. We're going to give it a denominator that's not going to change its value. So what number could we use as a denominator that's not going to change the value of a number? I bet you're thinking about it right now. We're going to give it a denominator of 1. Okay, that's it. That's as simple as it is. So if I have 32, it becomes 32 over 1. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold off on the next part about mixed numbers, so it's going to be there in the next set of notes. So the next thing is, it's multiplying with fractions is actually so much easier than adding or subtracting, because guess what? I write you and I do, and I say you. You do, and I'm going to yell at you, not need common denominators. So it's far less work than adding or subtracting fractions and decimals, or fractions and mixed numbers. Okay? You do not need common denominators. Don't do it. Okay? Trust me on this one. All right? The thing I like to do next is what I call pre-reduce. So try to pre-reduce common factors. So remember, factors are numbers that I multiply together to get a product. So these are going to be numbers that can divide into both of the numbers we're looking at. Try to pre-reduce, I'm going to put that in quotes because that's kind of my word for it, common factors. Factors, thank you, from any numerator to any denominator. Okay, so it can't be straight across, it's got to be up and down, something from the top canceling with something that's in the bottom. Okay, so you actually have 4 locations you can look. So I'm just going to write down some variables. So A over B, and I'm going to use the dot for multiplication, C over D. So I'm going to color this 4 different ways. So I can look to see if there's anything that A and D have in common. So that's one place to look. I can look and see if there's anything that B and C have in common. That's another place to look. But where people sometimes forget to look is here's a numerator and denominator, A over B. And then we've got one more, C over D. So those are the 4 places to look for common factors, okay? Now, you may have heard about this before, and your teachers may have used the words cross-canceling. Okay, so that's what we're doing, is cross-canceling. But again, if you just think about cross, then you're not thinking about the fraction itself. Okay, now here comes, once we've done that little bit, and here's the deal, I'll be honest with you, if you don't want to do the cross-canceling and the reducing first, you can do it at the end. But I'm going to be honest, people forget to do it. Okay, so you're going to multiply straight across. Yep, that's it. So simple. Okay, so what you're going to actually be multiplying is numerator times numerator. Well, that was supposed to be 2 dots. If you hear that noise, that's my cat again. So we have numerator times numerator, that's what I mean by straight across, over denominator times denominator. Isn't it crazy how fractions can be so small, but their words that make up the parts are so big? I know, it's crazy. Okay, if you hear that, it's my cat walking on me. Okay, and then last but not least, and this is the one that people want to forget about, you got to make sure that your answer is in simplest terms. So we say simplify, and you may know it to be reduce the final answer if necessary. Now, if you did a good job and you pre-reduced and you caught everything, then you won't have to reduce at this point. Now, reduce means to divide out common factors, okay? If you want, you may convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. Okay, so you may convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. May means you don't have to. If it's just a number and there's no story behind that number, you're done. However, if it is a word problem, so if you have a word problem, the answer, and I'm going to yell at you a little bit more, must be a mixed number. And again, think about if you go out in public and you ask somebody for something like, oh, I want to get 10 pounds of oranges. They're going to look at you like you're a freak of nature, okay? But if you said, I want 3 1/3 pounds of oranges, they're like, cool, okay, let's do it. So when we speak to each other, we don't speak in improper fractions. We only speak in mixed numbers, okay? All right, so I'm going to go to the next screen, and which would be the second page of my notes anyway, and I'm going to do some examples. So the directions are just going to say multiply. And let's see what we got. Let's do 4/5 times 15. Okay, so what we need to remember when we're multiplying, we need to have two fractions. So 4/5 is good. Multiplication is fine. But the 15 is not. So remember what we talked about? Super simple. We just give it a denominator of 1. All right, now I'm going to go searching for anything that I can reduce by. So let's see. 4 and 1, no. 5 and 15, oh yeah. Divide out of 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then 4 and 1, no. 3 and 1, no. Okay, that's it. We're going to multiply straight across. Now I'm going to rewrite my problem, and this is what your brain would be doing, is multiplying straight across. 4 times the 3 is 12, 1 times the 1 is 1, and then because I have a denominator of 1, I can do 12 divided by 1 is 12. Okay. Let's do one where I have a fraction and a fraction. 12, let's do 21sts times 6. I don't know, what do you think? 13ths. That's kind of ugly. So I'm going to look for anything that I can reduce by. 12 and 13, there's nothing there. 6 and 21. Oh, I forgot to mention stinky 3s. What's stinky about 3s is sometimes a 3 goes into an even number and sometimes it goes into an odd number. So we're going to divide out 3 from each of those on the diagonal. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So now I'm going to look and see if there's anything else. 12 and 7, 2 and 13, nope. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to multiply straight across. So that's going to be 12 times 2 over 7 times 13. So let's see, 12 times 2 is 24. Now I don't know 7 times 13, so I'm just going to do it off to the side. So that's a 21, and 7 and 2 is 9. So I get 24 over 91. Yeah, pretty sure I can't do anything with that. Okay. All right, let's try. Let's do 15/16 times 4/3. Okay, so let's see if we've got anything that we can cancel. Let's see, on the diagonal 5 and 3, oh yeah, they have a 3 in common. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, good. All right, let's go the other direction. 4 and 16, oh yeah. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now I'm left with 5 times 1 over 4 times 1. And that gives me 5/4. Now, I'm perfectly happy with that answer. Or I can convert it. So remember the notes from adding and subtracting? We talked about converting from improper to mixed and mixed to improper. So all 5/4 is 5 divided by 4. So we set it up with the division house. 4 goes into 5 once. We subtract, and here's how we write the remainder. That 1 is going to go up and be the new numerator of the remainder, and the denominator stays the same. So I have 2 choices of how to write that answer. Okay, that's all I got for you guys. Good luck with this. We'll talk about it on Tuesday. Bye now.